So I uh I had a friend that's in town right now, and she came from Argentina, and she wanted to go and you know do kind of touristy stuff. And we went to a show on Saturday night, and then a black metal show, which isn't really her thing, but that's what I was going to be doing. I was kind of locked in for that, so she went with me. And then Sunday we went to Amoeba, and uh, and then today we're going to go to CNOs and you know some other things like that. So because we went to Amoeba, I was like, well, you know what, I'm going to do a what's in my bag episode because my bag was really small. I sold some stuff. I got like $35 a credit, and I got two things, and I ended up paying like $2 in just cash on top of whatever my credit was. So it was a almost like breaking even. So what's in my bag? The last time One of the last times I was at Amoeba, I got a copy of the Headless Cross, the Black Sabbath album with Tony Martin, and I really like that album. Like I read somewhere that I read some list, and they're like it's a really underrated album, and then I listened to it. I was like, oh, this is good. So when I was there last time, I saw they had like this reissue of it, and I got it, and and then I was like, well, there was a few things I wanted to see if they had. They didn't have anything. Well, they had one thing that I was looking for. I'll get to that in a second. But I wanted to get like a copy of Ween's that nautical themed album. I guess it's called the Mollusk, because I've been listening to some more Ween lately. They didn't have any Ween used. They didn't have the Blood, Fire, and Death book, which I was hoping they would have. It came out on Feral House. It's about Swedish black and death metal. Didn't have it. Just they didn't have. I was hoping they were gonna have that Leviathan album I got on record. I was hoping they were gonna have it on CD. They didn't have that. They really didn't have anything I was looking for. I looked for like a few particular things, but I looked and I saw that they had the other one of the other Tony Martin albums. They had Tear too, and I kind of am interested in that, but this one I was like kind of intrigued by. So it's not as good, The Eternal Idol. It's not as good as The Headless Cross, but it's interesting. I might get Tear if I next time when I see it there, if I see it there, the reissue. Um, the Tony Martin era, it's not bad. That Headless Cross album is actually really good. It's a lot like the Dio thing. That type of soaring majestic heavy metal vocals I used to not like so much, but I think Dio was somebody who kind of made it okay for me to like it, and then I've grown to appreciate it more now. And then the thing that I did intend to get, and they had, and the reason I saw the Black Sabbath, because it's like almost right next to it, was the new Black Crowes album, A Pound of Feathers. Now, it's like me and Nick and I were having a conversation on one of the recent episodes of Mixtape Hotline where we were talking about certain artists that you're like, you're into them, you always get the latest album, and then at some point you check out. And the Black Crowes was a band that I remember when they first came out, and it was that song that was on the radio was Hard to Handle. I thought it was kind of gimmicky, and I wasn't really that into it. And so I wasn't into the Black Crowes on that first album. But then I remember seeing the music video for Thorn in My Pride. And I really liked not just the song, but like the vibe of that video. And there was something about like, you figure I was like 14 or, yeah, I was like 14, maybe 15 or something at the time. And I'd never been exposed to the Stones or the Faces or Humble Pie or any of this kind of music that would evoke that sort of sound. It's like a mixture of classic rock with also sort of these Americana and rustic elements in it. So I'd never really heard anything like Thorn in My Pride before. And I was like, okay. And I was always trying to hear it on the radio. Rarely did I. And I got the single of it. And then I ended up getting a copy of the Southern Harmony and Musical Companion and really getting into it. And then getting a copy of Shake Your Moneymaker. So at my grandma's house in Fillmore, that's where my brother and I got to watch MTV and get exposed to what was going on with on MTV with the grunge and all this stuff or whatever. The grunge stuff we kind of liked like right away. But I think I was the person that going out to being in LA and Venice, it's a little bit more urban and whatever city like and stuff. But getting out to Fillmore, it's a little kind of closer to nature, and there is elements of it that are a little more rustic and rural and small town. And so having the Black Crowes, getting into them, they coincided sonically with my experiencing of that particular landscape and being charmed by it. And so I think at that point, and I have stories about the desert. There's things about Fillmore that remind me of the desert. But I think at that point was where I began to develop an appreciation for I'll call it a nostalgic quality of that type of rock and roll. It's rock and roll with a certain amount of country and blues, and it's something that I really associate with that area in Ventura, and with my brother and my cousins. So I figured I was just going to go through a little bit of the Black Crowes albums really quickly. I got this box set when I was working at Penny Lane. And the Black Crowes was a band that I checked out on at Three Snakes and a Charm. Like, for some reason, I heard that at a listening station in some music store, and it didn't work for me. But when I had the chance to get this little box set of the first 4 albums, I was like, okay. And now I consider the first 4 albums to be classic. Like, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm just gonna say they're just the classic 5-star albums. They're all good all the way through. I like Three Snakes and a Charm now. I have this thing. It has, Shake Your Moneymaker. It has Southern Harmony. It has Amorica. And it has Three Snakes and a Charm. It also has this little live EP, which is, I listen to maybe once or twice. It's okay. It's like 4 or 5 songs. I put my copy, I found this when I was working at the record store. This is a single copy of the Thorn in My Pride single, which I just love this artwork. And the B-side is the slow version of Sting Me. This to me is sort of like, the album is called The Southern Harmony, and then this kind of is like my impression of like this gothic Southern thing as a teenager. I didn't know what Faulkner was and Flannery O'Connor and things like that. Those things would ultimately probably like demystify that vibe. But this was kind of my impression of what like the gothic Southern thing would be. Those first 4 albums are really great. I got this bootleg when I was in a sober house in Simi Valley for a while when I was like 23. And there was a record store it was a little ways from the house, but it was kind of in that area, and they had bootlegs, and I got this bootleg of this called The Raven. And I was really excited because it had Jealous Guy, which I remember catching the Black Crowes doing it live on ABC's In Concert when I was like 14 or 15 one night, a Halloween evening. So this is like a live bootleg. Still plays. It was it's a pressed CD, and it starts with Jealous Guy, and then it goes through songs from the first two albums. I also got this because I was watching some videos on YouTube, and they were playing some videos from, or they were playing a performance that ended up being the performance that was this show. It was like Freak and Roll Into the Fog with the Black Crowes. And it's great. Like, I really love the version of Only Halfway to Everywhere that's on here. It's the first track. And then they do a lot of stuff off the next, the mainly the first two albums and Amorica. So I got this just a little while ago, Freak and Roll, the live album. I like getting the live stuff by them. When I was working at the record store, that one album came out, which is, I think, By Your Side. I got it on CD used somewhere just because I saw it. It definitely drops down after Three Snakes and a Charm. And By Your Side, I understand why I wasn't like thrilled with it. And when you're younger, and you're more easily, you're more readily, you're more ready to just give up on bands that you've been like listening to consistently. And I think even though Three Snakes and a Charm had not really done it for me, I was willing to like give By Your Side a chance, but By Your Side just didn't. And it does mark that sort of decline in the Black Crowes thing. I'm trying to remember which. You know what I got? I'm going to show this. I got this on vinyl because the guys that do the State of Amorica podcast were talking about how this album, the vinyl track listing, because there's more tracks on the vinyl than on the CD, that this is the best version to get. It's pretty good. I think this was really the last of that classic lineup. The album, I think that was right before this, and then this I picked up used as well. And it's actually, I think, is the better of the later period, and it's War Paint. And I really like that. The first song, I want to say it's called like Daughters of the Revolution or something. They don't have the track listing. How War is Wrong, Stop the War. There's a little poster. It doesn't tell me what the song is, but it's got some good songs on it. War Paint. It's better than By Your Side. And that one song, that Daughters of the Revolution, whatever. That is a really kick-ass song. It's a real nice return to form for them. They released this. I got this at Best Buy. This is the version where the tracks are mislabeled. So the Tall Sessions, I think the Tall Sessions are on this disc. Or no. Whatever, it's like the opposite. So one is basically the Tall Sessions, which would have been Amorica. And then, or early versions of those songs that they weren't happy with, so they re-recorded it. And then the other is like an album that would have come out after. I can't remember the name of it. But they released this thing in the Lost Crows, and so some of the CDs, it's flipped. So the content that's supposed to be on this CD is on this one, and the content on this one is supposed to be on this one. I got that at Best Buy, and I do listen to that sometimes. I also have that Crowology. I didn't grab it. I didn't grab that or the By Your Side because I couldn't find them. And I listened to this, and I dug it, and I wanted to give them another chance. And what's kind of cool is that, like, my brother, well, we were all planning to, me and my brother and my cousin Brian, we were all going to go to see the Black Crowes right before COVID hit. It was in August. They were doing the 20th anniversary of Shake Your Moneymaker, I think. 20th or 25th, I don't remember. And no, it was probably 20th. We didn't get to go because of COVID, so it got rescheduled. So we got to go that next at the rescheduled date, and it was really nice to get to see them play a lot of the stuff that I remember from my youth with two of the people that I was listening to it with the most. Like my cousin Brian, we would be driving around in his Mustang listening to a boombox because the stereo didn't work. The stereo doesn't work in my car anymore either, so now I'm just listening to stuff on my phone. But we would have a boombox and we'd be listening to like Anthrax, Among the Living, Megadeth's like Rust in Peace, maybe Guns N' Roses, and sometimes the Black Crowes. But yeah, so so that was the soundtrack of and that's the soundtrack for like the weekends too. When you're in school and you get to go up and hang out with your cousins for the weekend. And so it was like they were basically good times. And I was really glad that Greg, Brian, and I got to go and catch the Black Crowes all together and have that experience, because it's I think it's some ways it's kind of rare that you get to like go and see a band from your youth with the people that were closest to you during your youth, and it's a great show. We were going to go, it was going to even be better because we were going to all go and see the Black Crowes open for Aerosmith later after that. And then that show, it got postponed because of Steven Tyler's vocal thing, because Aerosmith was another band from our youth, our collective youth, and it got postponed because of Steven Tyler's vocal thing, and then it ended up just getting canceled because Steven Tyler just wasn't going to be able to do any kind of tour like that. But it's too bad because those were two really big rock and roll bands for me when I was a teenager, and I think for Greg too. Brian maybe not as much. I think he is a little more Guns N' Roses stuff. I did get to see Guns N' Roses with Brian, but it's too bad we didn't get to see the Black Crowes and Aerosmith, because those, and they're kind of like very complementary to each other as far as like those two artists. And we didn't get to see them when they were first touring because we were kind of too young, and our parents would not have let us go on our own, and they wouldn't have taken us. So it's too bad we didn't get to go and see Aerosmith and Black Crowes, but we did get to see the Black Crowes. And maybe I'll get to go and see the Black Crowes again with Brian and Greg. So this video is for Greg and Brian, and the memories we had in Mojave and Fillmore, listening to the Black Crowes, listen to Aerosmith, listen to Black Sabbath too, but that was a little bit later. And if you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.